As Global Day of Parents is observed on the 1st of June every year, the day provides an opportunity to appreciate all parents in all parts of the world for their selfless commitment to children and their lifelong sacrifice towards nurturing this relationship. Parenting is difficult. It can be difficult. That's why we've assembled people who are deep into the subject. They're parents, but they're also professionals in various ways, and we want to explore a few things with regards parenting. So let me just straight away go ahead and introduce my guest seated in the studio. Sefa Mekwa Lord Mensah is an educationist, but she's a parent. I think that comes first before the educationist. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And Mr. Edmond Amakwe Foley is head of Department of Public Law, Gimpa Faculty of Law, but he likes the fact that he specialized in children's law. So that's one of his areas. Good morning to you. A father first, before all the other things that I said. And Dr. Chisara Ogbobo is Department of Mathematics, University of Ghana, Legon, a subject that a lot of children find very difficult. Good morning to you. It's good to have you.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you're all professionals, but you also have homes to keep. So first of all, let me ask, the modern challenges, the challenges that come with raising children in this modern era. Perhaps I will start with you, Sefa.
First of all, I would like to say that there is nothing more important to me than being a parent. I asked myself, if I am not a parent, what else would I be good at, or what else would I be investing my time into it? And with that said, yes, it comes with its challenges. For example, to come here early in the morning, they were still in bed, but I had to put certain things in place before I leave and also talk to them. So at the modern Ghana, where you want to be a career parent and you also want to be there for them, you can't have both. So you have to give one to have the other, but you need to balance it. So the challenge of always being outside the house or off site is a huge issue that we need to battle with, considering the challenges of social media, other caregivers coming through, and when I was listening to the lady, the tech, she was like, you are always hovering over your children. It is because you don't want to let them be in a certain environment or scenario where they will make the mistakes that you think you don't want them to make. So yeah, the challenge of not being there and also battling with media, social media, technology, and what have you.
Mr. Foley.
Right. I would add on to what Sefa has said. For me, it is also not understanding our children. We are living in a world now where she's mentioned time. We hardly have time, I say, to study or to watch the finer things of life. I say our development has become very brick and mortar development, even to government. It's hard cash. We are missing the fine art in the room. Do we take time to even appreciate the air around us? You see, and it's in that spirit I'm looking at us not understanding our children. I have 4 of them. The oldest one woke up early this morning, came and gave me a hug. I was rushing to get here, but I just thought for a moment that let me return his hug. And then he says, I want to come with you. I said, well, you can't come with me. I have to go to work. He says, but you're always going to work. I want to come to work with you. So I paused for a moment and thought, let me try and understand things from his perspective. He doesn't see me often. I think we don't often listen or understand our children. It's one of our biggest challenges also.
Doc, you play with the figures. It should be easy for you.
It's not that easy. I have 4 boys.
Wow.
And it's a whole lot. From when they were younger, now I think my own people are within the teenage bracket. And over the years, it was not easy. There was one funny incident I never forget. We were at the airport, we were traveling, and all of a sudden, that was when they were much younger. They just heeled off in 4 different directions. I didn't know what I was going to do with that. Should I scream? Should I run after them? Should I do what? But eventually some people helped me to gather them together. But that was at that stage, you know, that kind of energy running after them, trying to. But then as they walked to teenage, it became a completely different thing altogether. Like what he's saying, trying to understand them.
Yeah.
But what I think helps with this whole challenge is getting close to them from the scratch.
Okay.
Like my own kids would say anything to me. They could discuss just about anything. And that was something I put together from when they were very small. You have to give them that impression that I'm there for you. I'm a shoulder you could cry on. Whatever it is out there, come, let's talk about it. It's not easy getting to know each one of them, their needs and all. But then if we worked at getting close to them and connecting with them, then that's a whole lot. It alleviates the challenge a little bit. Yeah.
So what is it about parenting in particular, Sefam, that excites us so much that you say that irrespective of all the challenges, all the difficulties, you say that if I wasn't doing this, I don't know what else I would be doing? What is it about parenting that they stress us so much, yet we still want to do it?
When you witness their development, the changes that they go through, you remember tiny as a baby, the only thing they can say to you is cry when they need to sleep, when they need to be fed, when they need to be cuddled, they just cry. Then it gets to a point they start forming their words, and then they start expressing their emotions on their faces, in their actions, for you to know that I'm not happy with this, I'm excited about this. And you walk in or you come back from town or work, and they open the gate and they're excited to see, you see all these changes, and you're like, wow. And I have 3, and my first is 10. And the 2 girls are able to help me in the kitchen. And so when I'm in the kitchen with them and they are busy chopping the onion and it gets into their eyes, and Mommy, I say, yeah, it clears your eyes, it won't hurt you. And then they'll run out to the window. Now they don't even complain about these things anymore. And I turn and I look at them and I'm like, wow, this is awesome. And yesterday I was asking them questions about, so what is it that makes you guys gel? You can even whisper certain things without me knowing at this age. What do you like about maybe Shraba or this? And the 2 that fight a lot, they'll be like, I don't think I like anything about him or her. So we talk, and I notice the development. I notice the changes, and I'm like, wow, it's a privilege for me to be part of this journey.
Yeah.
For you to have somebody, not even you might not be a biological parent, but you can be a caregiver. And I see teachers as parents. I see anybody that you give care to, you protect, you nurture, you are qualified to be a parent. You don't have to be a biological somebody before you are called a parent.
Sure.
So when you have that privilege of impacting something positive into that child's life, for me it's awesome, and I won't give it off. Sometimes you have sleepless nights, they are sick in the night, they come to your, I remember Ishaba had to come to our room like twice or 3 times just for water. And they do that, you have to wake up. So I don't remember the last time I even had like 6 hours sleep continuous. But yes, still, I love what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's a privilege.
Mr. Foley, Daddy is almost always away. Do daddies feel the guilt? I mean, do you also think about, I wish I could do more? Like, do you, because I know that mothers would think about every step that they've missed. Do men also feel the same?
Yes. So when I was preparing for this show, I checked the meaning of parent, and I was surprised, the origin. It's parere in Latin, which is to give birth, to bring forth, or to produce. And who does the production starting? That's what hit me first. It's the father. You are the progenitor. I mean, also still from Latin sources, you know. You start, and I think it's hit me personally. I made a decision to return home to Ghana, you know, after living outside because of my children. You know, it was getting dysfunctional, so I came back for them. Now you come back and you are away. I mean, you know my situation very well. So that guilt has always been with me. And talking to, I mean, some of my colleagues who are also working, particularly in the international sphere, in our own quiet moments, yes, men don't want to admit their challenges openly. But in the boys talk, we do get concerned. And in the last few years, for instance, within my age group, we've lost a few classmates. And you go back and think about the fact that we were all in high school together, some from primary school. They've passed on. Between the colleagues we've lost, you're looking at about 16 children left behind without fathers. You know, this is about losing about 5 colleagues. And it hits us. You know, we have one in the morgue now, and we are thinking about his children. So I think the fathers are also concerned. We may not voice it, and we fear the repercussions, but men would hide their fear. You know, so we do think about it and feel the guilt.
Dr. Chisara, parents are usually aware you have a job to do because you have to feed them, you have to clothe them, you have to give them the best of education. They are learning so many things by themselves and on their own. And I don't think that even if you didn't have work, they would still listen to you 24 hours. Right. How do we still pass on those crucial principles? How do we get them to learn?
Well, like I said earlier, the bonding thing is very important. So that even when you're not there, for example, right now, 2 of my boys are in Nigeria, but they wouldn't just do anything that I don't know about. Most of the major things that happen in their lives is like mommy, because we built those things. The nature of my job when they were younger allowed me to tag them along if I wished, you know, because I'm a lecturer. So sometimes, okay, fine, I'm going to class in the evening, let's go. And I go to the office and I make sure everybody is sitting and studying. That's peculiar to me. I know that bankers can't tag kids along to the office or something, but we need to dot on them. We need to check on them. We should not abandon them altogether. Even if you are a banker or your job doesn't allow you to really be with them a whole lot of the time, you could find a way of still communicating with them, trying to find out what are you doing, what's going on, and then they know that mommy cares or daddy cares. And if I'm doing this, mommy will not be happy. She's just checked on me. What are you doing? Where are you? Have you done your homework? Those kind of things. So we could get them to do what we want. I mean, the technology is helping out on all fronts. You could send some messages to them. How are you? Have you eaten? Did you get to do this? That's if you can't be there all of the time, which is the case. We can't always, you know, carry them along or sit there with them. But then we could put some things in place. They could also communicate with us while we're at work. Mommy, it's lunchtime. What should we eat or something? And then you say something. You are not there physically, but emotionally you're connecting. Psychologically, you're connecting. And so they know that mommy cares or daddy cares, you know. So that's a way of bridging that gap.
Yeah, sure, Stefan.
Yeah, and then children also learn by observation. So in education, we have the structured curriculum and we have the hidden one. The structured curriculum is something that you lay down and the intent is to pass it on. The hidden curriculum is there's no book to it. So the child observes and learns as he or she goes along. So if the child is enthused or you are the fun and he or she is so fond of you, by default, they pick those things from you. So yes, this is how my mother behaves. This is how my dad behaves. I remember back in Belgium, my children went to school and they were asked, so what does your daddy do? And then they said, well, he was then a student. So daddy is always going to work. And your mom irons, mom cleans, mom lays bed, and mom cooks. Because that is what they have seen me do in the house. So they learn by observation. So as a parent, as they look, sometimes you might not even speak, but your body language is a lot for them to interpret. So you would wonder, they might even express certain things, your gestures, and you look at them without them knowing, and you give yourself a smile because you see your child depicting exactly what you do. So in as much as you might be a stay or you are not always in the house, you pass on certain traits or attributes to them by they observing what you do.
Okay.
So it's very, very important that as parents, as we hover around them, as we are in the house, you are not there, they're like, okay, if mom is there, I can't do this.
Mr. Foley, we tend to teach children what we know.
Yes.
Sometimes we give them the kind of education that we perhaps did not get. We want to give them the best of everything. But they are also different. They are individuals. They have themselves. How do we separate not passing you? I mean, not making them become you, essentially.
Right. So at the core of parenting, and if you check any definition, well, we are academics, definitions have their problems, but if you look at what parenting is, it's actually supporting and promoting the physical, emotional, spiritual, and psychological growth of a child into adulthood. So yours is not to be more or less taking over the child's life. Support. My youngest brother is a very good example. So we are 3 boys to our parents. 2 of us got into more structured, you could say, professional life. My youngest brother was renegade. He wanted to go his own way. Initially, yes, my parents may not have understood him, but I think they gave in. And today he is a leading entertainer in the country. Very different. But at the core of his life, I always say, he still comes home. I know my brother as, as who he is. I still call him by not his stage name. And it's interesting that I always say he still comes to eat his mommy's food every day, in spite of his high-flying entertainer life, because somehow he was allowed to be himself. But also, my parents still had a bit of the structure. I think we need to give our children spaces to be themselves. One time I came to school with my children, and one soiled himself. It's a new environment. He wasn't sure where he could find a toilet, so he soiled himself. And someone helped me take care of him. But I'm thinking, how many of our offices would even just allow a day when our children scream at home that I want to go to work with you. I want to see what you do. I don't want to do what you do, but come with me to do what I want to do. So your child says, no. Today I actually want to take a stroll in front of the Flagstaff house. Can we pause for a moment, park the car at Christ the King and say, all right, let's walk.
Take a walk.
My brother's daughter always wants to go to the Junction Mall. Sometimes we just have to go and walk through ShopRite. That's what she wants. So I think we must, yes, and what you describe is a type of parenting called the authoritative style of parenting, not authoritarian, where there are medium levels of acceptance of the child and cooperation. You draw certain lines, but you also allow the child to be. It's called the just right method of parenting, yes.
Just right method. What would we not allow our children to do? They're growing up and they would say, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a banker, hardly teachers, but you find a few of them.
Yes.
But would we allow our children to be musicians, to be footballers, to be a boxer, Doc? Would you allow them to be anything they want to be? That can be very difficult because of what you've passed through in life. I tell myself that if you want to be a journalist, let it be a hobby, something like that, but have something else before.
Interesting, because my baby, the last one, he's very good with soccer.
Okay.
And all he ever wanted to do in life was be a footballer. He has this whole thing for Ronaldo, for this. I remember I was traveling once, he said he just wanted, there was this boot he wanted. And it's Ronaldo, something, some label on it and stuff. But I said, fine, if you're going to be a footballer, you have to go to school. Your father is a professor. This is me. You're not just going to walk off a footballer, an illiterate footballer. I'm not going to have that. Then there's this other one in the university right now. He sings, he raps, he does, he dances, he does all manner of things. And I said, no problem. Just get me the university degree. Because I don't want you a school dropout. Get your degree. And if after you've qualified as a professional, what you think is your passion is singing and dancing,
Go ahead.
and I'm going to support you. He was shocked. I said, I will. Because nobody will say, my child didn't go to school or my son dropped out of school. Don't mind him, he's singing and dancing, he can't do any better. Once you can get your degree, you can prove to the whole world that, oh, I'm okay. Fine. If this other thing is what you really want to do, I may want to talk you out of it and say, are you sure you want to be a footballer? Because I've told my son, I said, football is not, you by 45 you retire. In fact, if you get to 45, that's a whole lot. So what do you do the rest of your life? You know, I've said all that, we've reasoned it together. But the truth is, like he said, as parents, we have our own life. My kids don't have to be lecturers because I'm a lecturer. No, they have their own ways to go. So if there's something different from what I think or what I am, and that is their own thing, then so be it.
But that can be really difficult.
It can be.
Because it's almost as if, okay, I know where you're headed.
If I foray into that terrain and teaching adult students also, I've come to learn that what you do that brings you your food, daily bread, might be different from what you love.
That's right.
Even
That's
as
a
adults, we
passion
need
thing.
to make that distinction. So I have a Kenyan friend who is a lawyer. That's what she loves doing. What brings her money is a diagnostic center that she runs. Totally unrelated to law. She loves the law, but this is what brings her money. So we also need to learn the economics, but also what we love. The two might come together. And if I take an example from the Bible, I say, so God gave us food in the Garden of Eden, eat whatever, but he gave us work, name the animals or whatever. So the two you can distinguish. Sometimes they come together. Yes, when we sinned, he put them together. He said you will struggle to get your daily bread. And with our world now, our children present those opportunities. Because if we are not careful also, we will not encourage them to do certain things. I have met artists. You might, I mean, the average Ghanaian parent might think, how do you earn money from fine art or music? So by all means, let them explore. But we also need to learn, in fact, entrepreneurial skills. How do I, for instance, as somebody who molds pots, now put some entrepreneurial ability to it to give me my daily bread? I think our fear, and that's why everybody's rushing to be an accountant, to read law.
Yeah.
It's frightening.
You want a backup.
Yes,
You want
backup.
something you can survive on.
But
that's fair, right?
Yes.
Because you're thinking about, are there any techniques, Sefam? If your child wants to be this, but you know that child needs some kind of education, how do you get them to accept that you can be what you want to be, but still do education?
So basically, if children come up with, I want to be this, I want to be that. In fact, for me as a parent, you shouldn't fret because it would always change. They would always change what they want to become. At this age, one, I want to be a musician. I want to be a
policeman.
I want to be a policeman.
Yes.
I want to be
A fire officer.
I want to
Firefighter.
I want to be a cook. I want to be. I said, fine. But like Madam said, you need to go to school because it is the education that would even redefine that passion that you have. And if passion is on top of everything, you are going in there and there's no money and you don't even care. So as little as they are, I can understand parents wanting somebody to succeed them. For example, a medical doctor, he or she has built this unique hospital and needs a child to succeed him or her. And that child says, no, I want to be a musician. It's like the parent's heart is broken. But then you need to allow that child to get to his or her own divine call. But you can't help it. Parents would always want you to do exactly what you want to do. But we need to empower them to make the right decisions. So if you empower that child can train as a doctor or can train as a musician, yet have the technical know-how to employ people to manage your work for you, and you still have your work ongoing. But when you say, no, this is what I want you to do, to the extent that the child even runs away from home. You hear adults saying that, okay, my dad wanted me to be a doctor, so I did, and I got the certificate for him, and I gave it to them, and then I went back to chase after what I wanted to do. But we can actually empower them. Yes, you can have both. You can be a musician at the same time, be empowered enough to run my empire for me. So it's all about empowerment. So if you empower them to take the right decisions, then I'm positive that that empire that you are building, that legacy that you hold so strong that you want your children to hold on to it, it will stand still.
Okay. We are activating the phone lines because we want you to be a part of this conversation. So join us. It's Parents' Day. Share with us anything you want to share with us. If you have any challenges you think that my guest can help you out, I guess you can throw it out to them. 0302-211-6910. 0302-211-6910. Or you can send me a regular text message or a WhatsApp message as well. This person is talking about you, Dr. Gbogbo, says, getting closer to your children is very important, but seriously, 4 strong boys is not easy. Prince Johnson Mokla inside Nungwa, that's where you are sending this message from. So join us on 0302-211-6910. Those are the numbers to call. But as parents, do you have your own life? You know, like, what do you do? Because we hear parents, everything that you do, you say you're doing because of the children. You're working because of the children. Sometimes you even get properties for the children. You buy a land somewhere for the child. Do you have your own lives?
It's hard.
It's difficult, yeah.
It's hard. I try to still find time with the boys. You to hang out with old schoolmates from time to time, but the guilt comes back quickly. I need to rush home. But I think we need to be sane ourselves first before we go to our children. We need to find that time, and that's why I'll go to the state. The state has a responsibility in law to support parents. So I look at our employment systems, right down to traffic in our country. How does that encourage family life? You see, parents, primary caregivers, primary duty bearers. The state is a secondary duty bearer. Article 20 of the African Charter, the rights and welfare of the child. So again, it's the government of Ghana, it's the state of Ghana supporting parents. It's a question we need to ask.
I'll come back for you to give us an answer because you know. Let's go to the phone lines. Nuruddin is in Hohoi. He joins us via phone. Nuruddin, good morning.
Morning, Marie.
Thank you for...
Nice talking to you.
Okay, you too, Nuruddin. Thanks for your call. Please, let's hear you.
Thank you so much.
Nuruddin, go ahead. Hello? Oh. Too bad we lost you, Nuruddin, but please try again. 0302-211-6910. Doc, do you have a life?
It's really tough, like you said. You see, I said it's difficult. Because my own experience, I've made so much sacrifice, and I think that's what it takes to really bring them up properly. I was just thinking when you were asking that question, I guess everybody just has a life before you start having children. And then perhaps you get another life when they are off the house. Like these days, everybody at my end is out of the house.
Okay.
My baby is at pre-sec.
Okay,
and
that's a grown man.
Yes. Yeah. So sometimes these days I could just watch TV. I mean, when I'm not doing mathematics or in Legon doing one thing or the other, I could just lie back on the couch and watch a movie. This never happened when I was bringing them up. When they were really small, it was just not possible. You had to sweep the house so many times over because they were messing up the place. You had to do this, you had to do that, you had to take them to school. And I did most of these things myself. I had to put the PhD on hold because I needed them to get to somewhere. Okay, I got these grants to go sit in the US for years doing a PhD, and I said to myself, what will happen to these guys when I'm gone? I never took anything that would take me more than 4 weeks away from home, and I'm running back. So for the years they are coming up, no, you can't really have a life. But when they're a little older, when you've done some of those bits of it, in any case, they're not there, so you could find something to do with your life, your spouse, and all that. You have more time for yourself at that stage. But before then, like she said, they walk into your bedroom asking for water 3 times a night. You can sleep and things like that. But that's the joy of it. That's the joy of it. So there's no life really until they are grown up. Yeah. Probably before you start parenting.
Stefan?
Yes. Yeah, we have life. And the 21st century parenting can be done in a vacuum. You can't do it all by yourself. You need support systems that will help you along the way. For example, you're at work and then you have a call that your child is running temperature and you need to pick him or her up within the next 30 or 20 minutes. And maybe there's a colleague of yours that lives close by that can do that for you. So if you have a strong support system, somebody that you can also lean on, then yes, you would have a life. But when they are babies, it's difficult for you to be selfish. But now, yes, my eldest is 10. So when they are so independent in such a way that when we come back from school, they know what to do.
Okay.
Children respond to routine or scheduling in a very perfect manner. So they know that when you come back from school, I've had lunch already, so I will do my homework, take a bath or have dinner, take a bath. And it works, different things work for different homes.
Yeah.
But from where I come from, school nights, no TV. So immediately you are done with your dinner, you take your bath, and then you pick a book. You might want to read something or even play maybe on your tablets for some few minutes, and then you go to bed. Those times I have it is a mommy time. And on weekend, Friday, TV, hey, or holidays, there's TV. So when they come and they are busy behind their TV, my door is not closed. So I kind of pop in and out to just see what they are watching.
Yeah.
And technology is so good in such a way that you can parent control what they watch. You don't have to be physically there to monitor what they are watching on TV. So you pick the remote control and you block certain channels based on their age. So I'm in my bedroom, I'm on my tablet, or I'm WhatsApping, I'm enjoying a movie or chatting with someone.
You still know what's happening.
That's right.
In the TV room.
In the TV room. So yes, I can have a life.
Yeah.
And then now 10 years, I can leave them for maybe 2 hours or rush to the grocery and come back with a phone. And the instruction is you don't open the gates for anyone.
Sure.
So you can still have a life based on what works for you in your house.
I'll come back for more tips, but let's go to the phone lines. Inusa is in Boga, and then I'll come to you, Nana Kofi. So Inusa first, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning.
Hello, Inusa.
Yeah, good morning.
Okay, good morning. We can hear you. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
On the use of thinking on good parents, let me.
Inusa, you have to reposition yourself. Your line is not so clear. Let's try it again and see.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, you go ahead. Let's see.
Okay, wait. I can hear you. Okay, thank you. Let me use this and
no, I think your line is not audible. We're struggling to hear you. So please, just hang up and call back again. Let's speak to Nana Kofi, who is calling from Maxim. Nana Kofi, good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Please go ahead.
Yes, I think I want to thank you for this program. I quite did not begin with you, but I'm hoping that it's a program.
Nana Kofi.
In this, century, like your panelists say, 21st century, bringing up children, my worry really is the subject of gayism. I mean, it's something that bothers me. I want to understand how we can bring our children up in this world where the subject of gayism is all over. How can I really bring my children up in a way that they will not be influenced by societal pressure so far as this particular menace is concerned? I mean, excuse my word, calling it a menace, but that is how I see it. And so that is the area I'm more interested in. Now my children are in international school, they have white people there, they have all these people with different cultures. It's difficult to control it, but I really want to know how we can do about it.
Okay. Nana Kofi, thank you very much for your call. You too can give us a call, 0302-211-69102. Inusa, you're back. Thank God. Let's hear you now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Madam. I'm on air.
Yes, you are, Inusa. You're on air. We're listening to you.
Thank you very much. I said let me use this special day and congratulate our women out there. I think when you come to this parent issue, women are the most yes, they are the most people that play a much role in taking care of our kids. And I will use myself as an example. They were just saying something. We, the men, we don't sit at home. Ours is to go out there and look for our daily bread. And the women are always in the house with the kids. They know what is wrong with them and the kind of motivation that they give to the children. It's only that when you come home, your wife will then tell you, this is what the children are saying. As my sister is saying, the children monitor you, the father, what you do. My children, one time my wife told me that anytime I go out, they will come and tell her that this is how daddy plays. And I have my child who is called Mutata, who will be playing as if he is the landlord, the father of the house. So when I come, they do tell me. And anytime they need something, they don't come to me direct, but rather they go to the woman. So you could see that the women are playing much role in taking care of our children. And at least we the men, we have to also put our effort. Even though we don't sit in the house, the children don't get access to us.
Okay.
It's the women that are doing that.
Okay.
So in this case, I'll recommend that our colleagues, the men out there, also play a role so that you can get closer to your children and know what they want and what they don't want.
Okay.
And give them again.
All right. Okay, Nusa, one chocolate for your wife from you because you appreciate what she does. Nancy is in Salt Pond. Nancy, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for your call. Please, let's hear you.
Please, I need help. Yes, I need help. That's why I'm calling.
Okay.
I'm having a younger sister. She's about 10 years old. And our mom passed away last year. So I had to bring her in to take care of her. But one thing is that I've never taken care of a child before. And she's brilliant. But just that if you don't sit her down for her to learn, she will never take a book and learn. And at first I've been beating her. But just that now I've stopped because it seems like even if she wants to tell you something, because of the way I've been beating her, she's scared. So I've stopped beating her. But just that unless you take the cane before she will run and then come and take her book and then learn. So in this case, what should I do?
Okay, you said she's 10? You said she's 10, right?
Yeah, she's 10 years.
Okay. All right, Nancy. Thank you very much for your call. Fortunately, we have all lecturers here assembled today, but I'll start with Sefam on that. Yeah.
But with the issue of a 10-year-old not ready to learn, first of all, she's dealing with a loss. And in this country, I don't know whether we have systems where counseling on bereavement is even taking place. Because someone dies at the church, they take contributions and just give the money to the person. Oh, shedding, everything will be okay. Yeah. And that ends it. But forgetting that a vacuum has been created in that child's life. And how do you fill that vacuum? Or how do you make amends? So that child needs to be counseled. That child needs to be counseled. And then you moving the child from one environment to a different environment to the child is also dealing with that. So the refusal to learn might not be because she doesn't want to, but she's battling with other things in her system that needs to be taken care of. So if you jump or you brush those ones aside and say, no, you have to learn because I'm paying your fees and I'm now playing your mother, I'm sorry, you are causing more harm than good. So you have to just drop everything, get to know her. You might not even be the one to talk to her, but you can seek help from maybe the church or a professional counselor just to sit here, explain to her there's a vacuum, yes, but things will be different. And you want her to come along. So you're not going to superimpose yourself on her, but you are going to work as a team. Sure. Then she would understand you from that angle. It's a tax she's taking upon herself. But with help and with education, I think she'll be able to do well. So please, the cane, drop the cane.
I was going to leave that one to Mr. Foley.
I think Sefam has said it all. I have nothing useful to add.
I was just going to add something. first the cane thing. We grew up with the cane, but I've realized that it's not about the cane now. It's good once in a while to spank kids, but I've realized that when you sit down with children and try to explain to them, not talk down on them on an issue, but carry them along on why something should be the way it is, and not just like holding the cane over them all the time, but out of their wrong timing, out of when they have done that thing for which you want to beat them, you could just sit down with this child and say, listen, going to school, learning, studying, apart from the bereavement counseling, which is perfect, you could talk and show her some role models. That has worked with me. I don't have a daughter, but I have this good feeling when I see a girl child that is doing well in school. I come out strong and after you. And I tell you, do you know this lady? Do you know that? Would you want to have a big car for yourself? And then they're looking at me. It's like she's saying something. And the only way to get there is to go to school. You're smart. And so don't do this, don't do that. Take your book seriously. One day you're going to own one of these big cars. Wouldn't you want to fly out of Ghana, go to somewhere, address the world? I begin to motivate them as girls. So I think that might work with this 10-year-old. Show her women on TV. Show her great people. Tell her that all this is about your book. These people didn't get there by being stubborn, by not learning. So if you study hard, you go from the primary to the JHS, you go to SHS, and then you are in university, you are special. Sometimes when there's a program on TV, you call her over. I do that with my boys. I say, come and see, come and see, come and watch this person. And then you motivate kids that way. So I think it works better than this, our cane and screaming and shouting things sometimes. I mean, the motivation thing sticks to their mind and it works.
Can we spend the next 2 minutes? Nana Kofi called from Maxine and asked a very crucial question. We don't usually talk about it. In fact, we don't talk about it at all. But I know that every parent out there, you're thinking about it somehow. So, Mr. Foley, I'll begin with you.
Yes. So, in my research also, from a legal perspective, there's been a very ostrich approach on the African continent to the issue of homosexuality. Research indicates that yes, homosexuality has been in Africa. So I never subscribe to the position that this is some white people coming to teach us something. There is cogent research from sociology, from law, that shows that yes, we've had homosexuality on the African continent. We have just not dealt with it. So the approach from most societies, traditional societies, was just not to engage with it. That's why linguistically you don't even have any terms to describe it. But we need to confront it. In my child law studies, we've had the issue come up, children's sexual orientation. So we need to engage with it. My thing is, be open about it. And again, we've talked about talking with your children to find out what the orientation is. And parenting is guidance, so that you guide them away from it if you don't want to deal with these matters. If you come hard and headstrong, particularly on issues of sexuality, it's a natural tendency. It will find an outlet. So engage with it. If your child expresses his or her sexuality, engage with the child. I even say for us adults, come to terms with it. If it's a weakness for you, accept it as a weakness and seek help. Often we mask it or move away from it. That way you never get it solved. So you have a daughter who has gone out one night dancing with boys and she's been touched inappropriately and she liked it. You hear about it or you go and catch her in the club. Whipping her or going outright. No, how did you feel? Let's talk about this. I always say, yes, sex is good. The feeling is okay, but not now. You see, take that approach. So don't attack your children when they express that, or they come with the knowledge, hey, you have touched haram. Engage and direct away from it.
Just spend a little time, Sefam, addressing this issue. How should Nana Kofi do it?
I'm sure whilst Doc is speaking, everyone be okay, he's a lawyer, so that is why he's saying all these things. Here in Africa, we shield it. is a no-go area.
Yeah.
You just want the child not to get there. But it's happening in educational systems. The research is even indicating outside Ghana, children are being oriented to think differently, that the fact that your organ, your reproductive organ looks in a certain manner does not define you a male or a female. Yeah. So all these things are entering into our schools, and then even the cartoons that they are watching, they are being oriented to think in that manner. So I keep saying that you need to empower your child. Empowerment to know the right thing. Empowerment, you can empower by intentionally giving the child certain books to read. When that child comes of age to read certain things. You are doing that for the child to open his or her mind. We all have our belief systems, and I'm a Christian and my religion frowns on it. So if I want to empower you to shun away from gayism, I need to give you literature that will point you to that fact.
And show you scripture, perhaps.
Okay. Okay. Now, I'll give you the last say on this.
On the whole, he said it was a menace.
Yeah, that's how he sees it. That's from his perspective.
Yes, just to add up to what she said, like I have become an advocate of talk to the children, discuss with them. Like my own people have come up to some age, so we talk. Okay, so who are the girls in your life? Are they the ones looking for you, or you are the one looking for them? I start up such discussion. My baby will say, oh, mommy, why are you talking about this? I say, oh, we are going to talk about it. And then before you know it, he opens up. I said initially that it's about connecting with your children.
Okay.
Because when you're not there, when you have not built that relationship, and then they go wrong, you don't even know where to start. But if you have always talked with them along the line, then before they deviate, you've planted some things. When you know that things are going around, like I hear there's this tramadol, blah, blah, blah. I've already told my boy, I said, are there people taking codeine in your school? And he was like, mommy. I said, yes. Tramadol, codeine, have you heard about it? And then I start the discussion, and I tell you, that is the fastest way to be destroyed. All the dreams, and we go into it. And he says, mom, whenever you see people who are into this, just stay away. So we parents, we can do a lot.
Yeah.
We can talk to them and keep telling them those things that are not right. And trust me, if they believe we mean the best for them, which they do most of the time, they will accept what we say.
Yeah, okay. Nana Kofi, I'm sure this is detailed enough. But I think just to also add that even though children are children, they're also individuals. They've got their own minds. And once they believe in something, be sure once they've got the principles from home, they can mingle with all these people, but they will still turn out right. So just believe in the child that you have nurtured. I am grateful. I think I have my next topic, and I'm definitely going to invite specifically. What if your daughter comes up to say that I got a girlfriend? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's the person that I like. What would you do? It's a very, very difficult subject, but we've got to talk about it. Maybe we'll start with those in law because they are more friendly. Thank you so much. But was there something that you're going to say?
When she talked about positive reinforcement, one of my own mothers at some point in my life, Professor Mensah Bonsu, said, if you study hard, people will always buy your air tickets. Until today, yes, I do a lot of travel paid for by others.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being here. I would love to host you again. Thank you. And enjoy. It's your day today, so do something for yourselves.
I'll cut work. I'm going back home.
Oh, thank you so much for being here.